Hi, good evening. This is the Natural Rights Sangha meeting for the week of Sunday, November 29th, 2020. In America, Thanksgiving happened this week on Thursday, and I'm looking at myself in this screen, and I don't feel nearly as tired as I look. Believe me, my eyes look really bad, but this light's up here, and it's you're making funny shadows. I have Ramana Maharshi behind me on this shoulder, and this one has the Virgin Mary over that shoulder. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I I always enjoy the fact that when I'm in India, you'll find pictures of the Buddha and Jesus and Mary and Ramana Maharshi and Ramakrishna and all these people everywhere and anywhere, because once they're known to be truly holy people, they're respected by everybody of all faiths. Um, and I think that's great. I think that's a really good thing. You know, this evening I was reading an article about how you can tell conspiracy theories and how you can refute conspiracy theories, and I thought it was a pretty good article. But there was one thing in it about vaccines which interested me. He said, you know how you stop those anti-vaxxers? You stop the anti-vaxxers by asking them, where's your proof these are bad? I went, what? Where's your proof these are bad? No, it's the opposite. Show me they're safe. Show me the research that shows these vaccines are safe, and I'll take it. I'm not an anti-vaccine guy. I'm just a pro-safe vaccine guy. And when you study it and you find out how little research has actually been done into the safety of vaccines and their ingredients, you go, oh my goodness, show me they're safe, and then I'll think about taking it again. Uh, so this person with good intentions had it backwards. This person was assuming that since the powers that be had affirmed they were safe, that they were. No. Turns out the powers that be, in this case, might have made some mistakes. That's something to investigate, something to go with the precepts and take a look at for sure. Now, let's stop and meditate and get centered for our meeting. We'll do our mindfulness meditation as usual, focusing on breath through the tip of the nose as it goes in and goes out. And if thoughts come, release them, let them go. Don't follow them. Don't carry them to the next step. Don't remember that even more deeply or worry about that even more or whatever it is. Yeah, let's just let those go and just breathe. So please set your timers for 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, however long you wish. And when they ring, you can start this back up again. And in a couple breaths, we'll be started again. So sitting up straight, relaxed, hands not touching, but fingers together, closing the eyes. Inhale, exhale. So please hit your timers and let's begin. Welcome back. Today I got word that my friend Robert Wolfe has a new book coming out by the end of the year. It's called Emptiness. And Emptiness is about 30 of his monograms on ajata. And ajata is the natural follow through to Advaita. Advaita goes not a second, and ajata goes not even the first. And he has a website about this. You can look up Robert Wolfe Ajata and AJATA, and it'll be there. It's pretty heavy duty stuff. You know, his other website is probably better to start with, although some of you might want to just go straight to the Ajata website. But that book will be coming out, and I'll probably be reading from it or soon. Yeah. Wolfe, WLFE, and I recommend him highly. He's the real thing. Not interested in sex, drugs, fame, power, money, just in sharing what he's been, and he would say blessed or fortunate enough or lucky or whatever enough to have come to in his life. And he's had a long and interesting one. Now, Ramana Maharshi, whose picture is behind my right shoulder on your left, is someone I talk about frequently, and I'm going to talk about him again tonight, bringing up a few things I've only mentioned indirectly before. Now, I'm going to be discussing a few verses from the Spake Ramana. It's from Sri Ramana Ashram in India, and this is from the 2002 version. And version or edition, excuse me, that would probably be the correct way of putting it. As a precursor to the first verse, many Eastern traditions, including Advaita, hold that there are three main states for us, who are called jivas in some condition, meaning apparent human beings, apparent individual beings in human form. And these jivas have three states in which they exist. One is the waking state, which I'm in right now, and hopefully you are as you participate in this. Then there's the state of deep, dreamless sleep, total gone. And then there is the dreaming state, which is you're asleep, but you're dreaming. And sometimes they're happy dreams, and sometimes they're just strange or weird or interesting, and sometimes they're horrifying or bad, and then they're nightmares. You know, so the three states: sleeping, waking, or deep sleep, waking, and dreaming. Now, of course, some people claim that this waking state is just another type of dreaming state, just longer lasting and more seeming more real. But that's a big topic. But let's go to the verse and give Ramana Maharshi's perspective on this matter. This is verse 64, by the way, in that book, which is a small booklet, easy to get. Yeah. Existence or consciousness is the only reality. Consciousness plus waking we call the waking state. Consciousness plus dream we call the dream state. Consciousness plus deep sleep we call deep sleep. Consciousness is the screen on which all pictures come and go. The screen is real, The pictures are mere shadows on it. Because by long habit we have been regarding these three states as real, we call the state of mere awareness or consciousness the fourth state. However, in fact, this so-called fourth state is really the only state. Now, if you want to talk about this so-called fourth state, some people have a name for it called Turiya, Turiya. Turiya is just a concept. It's just a word used to describe the consciousness that holds the other three states in place, so to speak, when actually it is everything. So again, existence or consciousness is the only reality. Consciousness plus waking, we call waking. Consciousness plus dream, we call dream. Consciousness plus sleep, we call sleep. Consciousness is the screen on which all the pictures come and go. The screen is real. The pictures are mere shadows on it. Because by long habit, we have been regarding these three states as real, we call the state of mere awareness or consciousness the fourth. There is, however, no fourth state, but only one state. There is no second. Advaita, not a second. Related to the three states, of course, is this sense of having a body. Okay. Now, what's interesting is in deep sleep, the body's gone. We're not dead. Okay. The body is still there and still functioning. And when we so-called wake up, we're again associated with this particular body we apparently have. But where does it go? I mean, when we're unconscious, where does it go? And when we're unconscious, where is the whole world? You're in deep sleep. Where is the whole world? That is why they say the whole world is a mental construct. Unless you are awake and noticing this world out there, the world doesn't exist, does it? At least it doesn't in your particular framework, does it? It's not there. It doesn't exist. Oh, some sages carry this very deeply and go into great detail about this. We won't right now, but with this as a framework, reading another verse now. So here we go. When the sense of I am the body arises, then the notions of you and he or she also arise. But when, by the quest of the truth, with a capital T, underlying the I sense is put to an end, then the notions of you and he and she also cease. That which then shines as the sole remainder is the true self. Self with a capital S. Now, those uses of words like truth and self become confusing because there's the little self, the little s, which is Mark, or Joe, or Karen, or Bob, or Sue, or the tree, or whatever. And there's the big S, which is the consciousness, the truth, all that is, the divine. Some anthropomorphize it and call it God, although I don't like to do that because then we start thinking of Jehovah with a beard throwing thunderbolts or casting some to hell and some to heaven or whatever it is. No, but not, at least not in my framework. That's not how I see things. So I'll read it again. When the sense of I am the body arises, then the notions of you and he also arise. But when by the quest of the truth underlying the small I, the I sense is put an end to, then the notions of you and he also cease. Then what remains is the true self, the big S, the consciousness, what up above he called the screen upon which all of the waking and sleeping and deep sleep played out. A very short verse. And I just want to mention that this is furthering things to ponder for members of the Natural Right Sangha. We're not discussing directly the precepts tonight, and we're hopefully all living by them and doing well with them, and doing our best to endeavor to uphold the precepts. And we're researching those matters in life that bring concern to us as far as how to uphold the precepts. One obvious one right now is the whole vaccine issue. Are they safe? Are they not? Are they healthy for my body? Are they not? What's the real situation on this? Regarding the almost inherent conflict between do no harm to other people, but to protect the elderly and the disadvantaged and the young. How do we sometimes make that conflict work? That's up for us in our heart to look at very strongly. Again, a person from the Natural Right Sangha could be a conscientious objector quite hardly, and yet also could serve as a police officer or as a soldier. So, in the military. So it's here. And it's interesting that I point to the heart because there's a voice I'm not going to work with tonight, which talks about heart. Depending on how you define heart, and if you look at the spiritual aspect of it, Ramana says the heart is everything. A couple teachers who have distorted his teachings and are really way out there and seemingly very bad off regarding everything they do regarding money and women and sex, drugs, fame, power, money, way out there. They try to claim that heart does not matter. It's all mental, and experience doesn't matter either. It's all mental. Really? So the human mind is the absolute cornerstone upon which the whole universe must be based. We're it. Uh-oh. The universe is in trouble. If the human mind is the only thing that can grasp the universe in its entirety, and everything that goes on and all that is, we're in trouble. Now, yes, there's a paradox to some things I said earlier, but it all makes sense in one framework. I'm not going to go back to it and do it all again. So if you have a question about it, though, or anything else, please send me an email to mark@naturalrightsangha.org, and I'll be happy to respond to your questions, critiques, criticism, reasoning, whatever it is, and I'll be happy to respond. I think I can privately, but I also reserve the right to keep you anonymous and do it for everybody. Okay, so if I did go public, I would never reveal who you were, and people would never be able to guess. Unless you wanted me to, then that might be different. Okay, so to go to the last verse that we're going to look at, this is a little bit of humor from Ramana Maharshi, but one who asks oneself, who am I and where am I? Though existing all the while as the self, the big S self, the movie screen, okay? One who asks oneself, who am I and where am I? Though existing all the while as the self, is like the drunken man who inquires about his own identity and whereabouts. Now, Ramana Maharshi usually didn't get humorous like this, but you can see him saying this with a smile. It is said that when he laughed, it was a glorious sound, and it was a wonderful thing indeed. And he actually laughed more than you might think. You know, the condition of actual enlightenment actually is a condition of being at one with a peace that we don't possibly understand in these bodies of ours until we get there. But once you're there, it's a pretty happy place. Even though the world is pretty crazy, you know. So yeah, he laughed easily at times. Yeah. And so I'll read it one more time. One who asks oneself, who am I and where am I, though existing all the while as the self, is like the drunken man who inquires about his own identity and whereabouts. Oh, I was that drunken man for a long time. Okay, so thank you for being here this week. And as usual, we will end with the Four Immeasurables. Okay, so starting with the self, please repeat after me. May I have happiness and the causes of happiness. May I be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May I never be separate from the happiness that is free of sorrow. May I reside in equanimity, free of attachment and aversion. Okay, so now let's go to we. So this we can be you and your loved one, your loved ones, your family, your friends, everybody, some people you don't like but you would like to wish better for, or the whole universe, every cosmic being, every sentient being. Barfy the dog and Kitty the cat, whoever we is for you, but includes you. Now take one of the we and look into their eyes. And let's do the four immeasurables for the we. May we have happiness and the causes of happiness. May we be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we never be separate from the happiness that is free of sorrow. May we reside in equanimity, free of attachment and aversion. Okay. Well, thank you for being here this week, and may have a good week of endeavoring to keep the precepts, and blessings.